Carl and Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's Freddy's Nightmares, an episodic recap. We are looking at episode 18, The Art of Death from season 1. Directed by Ken Wiederhorn, written by Michael DeLuca and Ken Wiederhorn as well. Which is a real shame. Because that should have said, well, okay, keep it tight and all that. Because after The Joy of Love Stinks in episode 17, the middling, mixed quality of episode 16, we felt we were on a bit of a roll overall. We considered the last two episodes, 4 segments overall. 3 out of 4 of those segments were gold. And we went to this one. And it is a brick wall of just, oh, this is bad. I will say the first segment is bad. The second segment is average. Like it leans toward, but neither particularly are enjoyable to watch. And the word is dull. It's a pants episode overall. That is the simple fact of it. The connection between the two segments is strong, particularly how an event in the first one affects the character's behaviour in the second one, which is really, really good. And the second segment has some imaginative dream moments. But if that had been there, and we'd had a really strong first segment, I reckon it would have made the second one better and more passable overall. The first segment, I think, could be up there as one of the worst segments. In regards to just how stupid and dull it is and irritating it is. Irritating of certain things. And the ending doesn't make up for it, because the ending can be seen 2 different ways depending upon your point of view. And I will get to that when I briefly recap the episode. But up to that point, the fact that I feel that this first utilises elements of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare is not a good thing. Now, you could argue that I might be jumping here, but I think it's quite similar. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, The Final Nightmare wasn't actually out at this point, so technically it's the other way round, but that's not how I viewed it, so I automatically see it the other way around. But ultimately, it's the comic book touches. So Freddy's Nightmares, The Final Nightmare, Freddy's Dead, has one of the worst Nightmare on Elm Street kills ever, which involves that comic book nerd going into it and him being slashed up and the paper flying everywhere and all that. Awful, awful, awful stuff. This uses comic books in a similar style in regards to imagination. There's almost a little touch of Dream Warriors there as well to a certain degree. But that is I'm talking about the most minute touches. Dream Warriors is the second best Nightmare on Elm Street movie ever made. Let's be serious. So let's not try and compare the two at all. Carrie Scott plays Jack, a young comic artist who is pining, and I'm using this word dangerously, over Laura Schaefer's Joan. Dangerously. I hate characters like this. I hate characters the way they're written, as though people are supposed to relate to him when he has no fucking right. No right to be the way he is. Because she already has a boyfriend. But that doesn't stop Jack. And it makes him look like such a douche, in my opinion. Now, it's written...
It's a creepy thing to do. Like, just... Like, deal with the fact that she's got a boyfriend. Like, you can do it in your own private time. But, like, to be... he's just overly... Ugh.
The issue is that she's got a jock boyfriend who beats up Jack, right? But the thing is, the only time we ever see him getting in Jack's face is because of how Jack is behaving around her. And to get his revenge, he's drawing mean comics about this particular jock as well and putting him in the school paper. How is Jack the good guy here? How am I supposed to go, oh, whatever, and so, like, poor Jack, he just really wants that. Like, I swear, I said to Jonah, like, you ain't owed shit, mate. She doesn't owe you anything. He is in the wrong here. But to be fair, I think you can see the end of this episode if you choose to, as that's kind of the point. The problem is they needed to make it black and white. They don't. They make it shades of grey. So basically, through some unknown power, and we never really make this clear if this is a dream sequence and stuff like that. And even by the ending, it's not made clear either. Jack is able to summon a comic book character he created called the Phantom, which basically is some massive Jack dude with a black cloak on and half a sort of skull mask covering the upper part of his face. And this man encourages Jack to draw what he wants to happen, and it will come true. What do we know about the Phantom? Oh, what do we remember about the Phantom? What's the one thing that you're going to remember? And for me, drove me mental.
I don't know if we're not on the same page.
Laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Draw, ha 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 ha, draw, ha 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 ha. That is non-fucking stop. We watch these together, and you know, if something's annoying me or something like that, I will often scream, not literally scream, but shout at the TV. And I was like, if he says draw one more fucking time, he is drawing. You're distracting him. Draw. And that's how he speaks.
Oh god, yeah, it was very over the top.
It is over the top, but not fun.
No.
That's the thing. It's not fun because he gets way too many scenes of doing the same thing over again. So whatever Jack draws, the Phantom effectively does. Killing his rival in particular. So like he draws his rival having been in a treadmill and ripped in half by the speed of it. Now we don't see that death, but that apparently happens. We just see the sort of splash of blood on the treadmill after. I mean, it's make believe. How far could a treadmill do that? You know what I mean? But it's make believe. But the most important part of this is involving having the Phantom bringing Laura to him, which actually just results in her being kidnapped. She ends up getting locked in a small cupboard in the school steam tunnels. Now, Americans, please do tell us what the hell these are, if these are real. Steam tunnels under schools. Is that an actual thing, or is that just made believe? And these are massive tunnels.
Some pipe works,
and like pipes and vents and stuff like that. We're talking steam tunnels where you can walk fully standing up and have the room to windmill the Phantom if you wanted to. You know, that kind of thing. Laura ends up getting locked in a cupboard down there, and through that we learn that she has got claustrophobia, and so on. And that's important, because that's what will really cross over to the second segment. Of course, Jack now realises things have gone too far and he must stop the Phantom, but it's difficult. And, you know, he ends up using his powers, like, you know, the Phantom slowly follows him through the steam tunnels and he draws the hole and the Phantom falls through it and all that. But at the end, it goes one of two ways. So at the end, it seems like now I prefer this. It was all Jack's fantasy. Yeah. He thought he was the hero when he was actually the villain, because it's revealed that basically he's dressed like the Phantom. Yeah. And kidnapped Laura and all that kind of thing. And I think that makes more sense, because when Laura's talking to the Phantom, she's constantly saying, why are you doing this? Why, you know what I mean? Like, she's talking to Jack. Yeah. That's what I want to believe. Jack had pined up this goal so much, he'd become dangerously obsessed to the point where he thought he could be a hero, but when he was really the villain, and he'd split personality, so to speak. That is what I prefer.
Yeah, definitely.
But other voices on the internet see it as him just being implicated in it, that he was not involved at all, and that this is the Phantom's revenge.
No.
And I don't like that, because that makes Jack out to be a sympathetic character again, and Jack gets no sympathy from me.
No. Definitely not.
I prefer the idea that Jack was a villain all along. Yeah. And just didn't realise himself.
Yeah, and the fact that he's kind of immersed in that world anyway and drawing, it does not explain how he got the power.
Yep, fantasy, isn't it?
Created power.
Yep, true. It is that. I think we're right. I think we are right. I think that's what the writers were actually going for. I think it is as well. The second segment continues with Lara. So she is the focus in the second. So credit to the absolute link here. Yep. As she's recovering from the trauma. I never really implied how long after, but I'd say a couple of weeks at least, maybe months. But she's also dealing with her claustrophobia that now seems to have been enhanced by her experience in segment 1. That's rare. That's rare that we would get an issue and then take it into the second one and then go, boom. And it made sense because of her trauma and experience. She already had claustrophobia. That will have caused bigger issues for her.
And it wasn't just being trapped in a thing.
We've no idea how long she was there either.
Yeah, and not like you've locked yourself in somewhere or a booth or something, you know, innocent. You were kidnapped by someone. Yep. So yeah, that's all kinds of trauma. I'm down with it. Unfortunately, that's about the only interesting thing about this. Now, they do a good job of subverting where the dreams begin here. So she's wary of going in a closet, basically, and ends up getting locked inside said closet. Yep. Now, stop there, because we're going to jump directly to the end to tell you that she never gets out of this closet, or at least up until her friends come home, and where she's left basically traumatized even more by what happens. But in the dream sequence, she does get out, and basically her friends leave, going on some trip, and she ends up being tormented over and over again by a friend of those friends. Yeah. And he keeps popping at the door. Sometimes he comes in and he's really cruel and really mean. Sometimes he's a bit, if we're honest, rapey, and all these other elements. She kills him at one point, then he's back again. There's all these different things, and it's interesting, except
the acting isn't great, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and there is fuck all payoff. There is fuck all payoff to this. That is a big, big issue for me.
And say like having a stuck at home as well, you limit yourself to one area, so you kind of like you've got to work to make it. I would
have made the tormenting thing snappier. It takes up the majority of this episode segment, and I would have made it snappier, keeping it short, quick like that, and applying it. Yeah, even a montage of like even if you start off with one or two that are longer, and then you just do it over and over again as she sort of seems to be losing her mind in quick montage almost form, where it implies it's been going on for fucking ages. Yeah. And that's kind of thing, to the point where she stops being fearful and she starts to fight back, but it doesn't change. Like almost like she's stuck in this loop, and then has to find a way to stop that loop. That though would have probably taken a little bit more longer to tell, I think, than anything else. It meanders along mostly, peters out, and like I said, there are some different ideas in the Torment to watch that are kind of interesting. But when you take that and you put it with the first segment, this is one of the worst episodes because it is non-stop dullness. Yeah. And you just come away going, it feels longer. It feels longer than it is.
It shouldn't.
It should. Even without the ad breaks that existed when it was aired on TV, these are 44 minutes long. Yeah. They shouldn't feel as long.
No, definitely not.
So for us, this is a rough one. Episode 18 from Freddy's Nightmares, The Art of Death, Season 1. You got any thoughts you didn't know what to do? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.